interview with Mr. Austin Turner here. I am introducing myself as DJ Peta. So we're gonna start with, can you please introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Austin. I am the owner of AT Automotive Consulting. A longtime best friend with Lapita. I'm here.
Okay, so you started talking about your business. You did mention it. So where did you get this idea to start your company?
You were the first one, and then it was my friend Jalen. We were scrambling to try to find you a car, and we was like, well, where are these deals at? And every dealership was trying to tell you, like, it's $10,000 over, it's gonna be this. You wanted this Kia K5 that just came out. Everybody was looking for it. He was like, I want the red interior. And I helped you find it, and then you were just like, why don't you do this full time? And then boom, here I am, like 2 years later.
And
3 years later.
And here we are.
3
years later.
3 years later.
First deal.
Yeah, I guess you can get those bragging rights or whatever.
This was not the field that you went into when you went to school originally with your bachelor's.
I originally went in for education, special education to be exact. And towards the end of it, my school just did not reassure me the passion that I had. It was too much. So I had a friend named Joe that, told me, hey, you'd be a really good salesperson. Why don't you venture into sales? And I did so, and it's helped mold me into the salesperson I am today.
Shout out to Joe.
Joe
Hey,
Q.
Joe. So you did end up getting your bachelor's.
Yes, I got my bachelor's in special ed, and I have my master's now in entrepreneurship and emerging technology.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes.
Which I hope to help some more startups and people, start businesses and keep going, and get them on the run and start. And then also to help with some small business consulting, where people that do need help or don't know what to do, I'll be there to help them.
Okay. So what made you go into this industry itself, like the automotive industry first?
Well, I always loved cars. And I used to always blurt out these random facts to people, and they were like, nobody want to know that.
What's a fact right now?
Like, ooh, look at them little lines on the bottom of that car. Like, it's designed to do this. And you'd be like, okay, what am I supposed to do with that information? And then, so just a lot of that. And I purchased a car. Well, my granny purchased a car, and she was taken advantage of a little bit in the instance. And that is what fueled me to really look over the numbers, really look over the paperwork, see what's supposed to be there, what's not supposed to be there, because some dealerships will get people to just agree to anything.
Yes.
I'm sitting there for 4 hours, they're ready to go. They're like, oh, well, just sign here, we got your payment, but what's in that payment? Some warranty I didn't want, some fees that I didn't know about, I'm paying all this extra money for what?
Yes. And with my own experience with you, you made it so easy. With car dealerships, they make you seem like you have to take what they're offering.
Exactly.
And you don't take no as a...
Just like with you, it was... I remember we wanted that 2.9% and that $1,000 off, and they were like, you can't have both. And I was like, why not? Well, you just can't. And what did we do at the end of the day?
We got a 2.5 interest rate.
Oh, it was 2.5. It was not 2.9. It was 2.5. It still ain't going to beat that 0% Jalen got, but...
It's okay. Hey, it is what it is. But I got my interest rate I wanted.
Period.
Everyone can't be Jalen during COVID.
I was so mad. Why didn't I get one?
All right. So, what services do you offer to your clients?
So, call or text me any time of the day. I'm always be there no matter what. B, if you don't know what you want, I'm there to help you find out what you want, and what you need and what you don't need. And that peace of mind of knowing that you'll never be overpaying for anything. Because I'm not there to sell you a car. I'm there to make sure you, A, love your car, and B, get a good deal on it.
Okay. So what would make someone want to go to you instead of just going straight to the dealership? I know you just listed some benefits of just coming straight to you with making sure you're available.
I think a lot of people come to me simply because I make the process of buying a car enjoyable. It's not a pain. When they think of me, they don't think of, oh my God, I got to call Austin and be on the phone with him. You call me, we go over some stuff, we sit down. If you don't have time to test drive the car, I'll go pick it up and bring it to you. You know, the dealerships never call you. They always call and talk to me. You know, if you don't like the car, you don't gotta feel committed to me. Like, just tell me you don't like the car. I'd rather you be real and honest with me there rather than just say, oh, I don't want you to go through. No. If you're not loving this, I'm not loving it either. So it has to be I'm there to make sure that you fall in love with your car.
I think one thing that makes you so unique, especially with what you're doing, is how, yes, unique.
It's what
Beyonce.
You are.
I think what makes you so unique is that you're so passionate. You're so passionate about it, and you're passionate in making sure that people are actually getting what they want and not getting ripped off. Like how you were talking about how your granny was taken advantage of, and that's sad because dealerships will that's their prey, you know.
Yeah,
vulnerable people,
especially older people.
Older and younger.
Yeah, fresh out of college.
People getting their first cars, you know.
I had one client.
Or someone in emergency as well that needs
they need a car quick. I had one client, a dealership told them they were making payments on their car, and it wasn't even making payments it wasn't even helping their credit. I was just like, damn, like they took advantage of them for real.
Oh, and I think another thing, so you do so much. You help so many people. And I think when people think of you, they always think that you have to get a new car. But you also look at used cars too.
Yeah,
for people.
New and used. Like, it all depends on what you, at the end of the day, what you want. Mm-hmm. So if you come to me saying, hey, I want to get this used car, I'm looking at this car, well, there may be some deals out there that you don't know about. I'm like, hey, well, cost-wise, I understand you want to get a used car and you think it's cheaper, but this car is like $2,000, $3,000, a little bit more expensive, but it comes with a factory warranty, and
those warranties
you don't have to worry
are important.
The warranties, and then you don't got to worry about no maintenance. Like,
yes.
Your maintenance is taken care of for a couple of years. So,
not for Kia.
Like that. Hey,
they got to work on that.
They got to work on that.
Y'all make sure y'all get a cup from Crafted by Aurora. Black girls are magic. Period.
Mm-hmm. Period.
Pretty icy.
What were you doing before this?
Before this, I worked at. I had 2 jobs. Right out of college, I worked for the Department of Labor, for Job Corps, which that was one of the funnest jobs I had. I did that for 2.5 years, and I was a career transition specialist, and then I was a outreach admissions coordinator, and I went out and taught people how to, apply for Job Corps, what to do, and help them get jobs and stuff like that out of, when they finish the program. So
What'd
I did
you do
that.
after that? Oh, never mind. Now I know. Yeah.
Oh, not you striking a nerve.
I forgot. You weren't there long.
I wasn't. That job was horrible.
That was worse than Job Corps? Job Corps, he was going through it too.
I was going through it. Oh.
I don't think Austin can. Austin could be a 9-to-5 person, but I feel like he likes that free range of like just doing whatever you want, you know.
After that, I worked for this company, this nuclear energy company, as a recruitment consultant or something like that. I don't even remember the job title. It was so bad, but all I remember is I was the only black person, and they was not nice to me. And with that job, I did recruiting for nuclear job sites, like getting people in there to like work on whatever they needed done. It was very weird. But
so prior to what you're doing now, you used to be working in an office. You would say 9 to 5 typically, right. Monday through Fridays. How was it different? What was the most struggling part from going from kind of a more structured to being more freelance to what you're doing, where you could be working on this every day of the week at any time, dealing with different, clients and dealerships?
Well, I'm gonna say this: being an entrepreneur is not for the faint of heart. It takes a lot. Like, I had to learn a lot of like self-discipline and like a lot of things that were not taught to me I had to learn like firsthand. So there was a lot of like mess ups. There was a lot of like deals that I lost. You know, I still lose deals now, like where things just don't go as planned, and that's to me all part of the learning process. But I would not trade this for anything else. I don't think. I like having that freedom of, you know, being able to get up when I need to get up, and going to bed when I need to go to bed. Because not every deal can fit within a 9 to 5, so to say. Sometimes I got to wake up and, you know, talk to people at 6 o'clock in the morning, or I got to stay up and talk to them at 9 o'clock at night. So it feels like it's weird. It feels weird, to be honest, but it's like a really great feeling to be able to do that, and having that ability to meet clients where they are. Because in one of my education classes, they always taught us to, you know, meet your students where they are, like wherever they're at in their life, like, you know, at their level, or, you know, if you got to meet their parents at the park, whatever, meet them where they are, and things go a lot better. So being able to meet clients where they're at, you know, sometimes they want to do a lunch break at their job, or, you know, they want me to bring a car to them and they want to sit in the car and go over features, you know, stuff like that. Being able to do that like, that's like a out of world experience to me in a way. It's just like, oh my God, like I get to do this, and to see people happy and like excited about their car purchase. It's like, oh, okay, it's making a little tingly.
So you kind of talked about how you took something from what you learned in the education field when you were in school. So what else would you say that you have taken from the past positions you had, internships, while you were getting your bachelor's or in your master's? You know, what have you took from there to establish in your business?
So the one thing, or not one thing, there's a couple things, but the most important thing is to never be afraid to try something. If you don't try it, you never know if it's going to work out. So never be afraid to ask questions. You know, you want to try a position out, or you want a job, or you want anything, reach out to somebody and just ask them, like, hey, can you tell me about this? Like, tell me a little bit more about this. I want to learn about it. If you don't ask, then you can't receive. So that's my number one thing that I've learned, is to always ask questions and to always be curious. I've learned in one of the past positions too, I ain't gonna say no names, but one of my old supervisors, she was real with me, and she said that you a little emotional with everything, and I was just like, really? She was like, yeah, you emotional, like you cannot be emotional in the professional setting. And like, I will never forget, I'm just gonna say her name, Tiffany. I will never forget Tiffany for that. Like, if she didn't come real with me like that, and we had like a one-on-one, like, I was just like, wow, it made me sit back and really think, like, okay, she's right. Like, at first I was kind of mad, but then I was like, she right. Like, this definitely makes sense.
That's very factual. One thing in the business world is nobody cares about your emotions.
They don't.
You better keep it moving and get what you're supposed to get done. And that's it, you know?
That's it.
So,
but I know, you know, that I learned that from her, and there was somebody, you know, after her that I had to deal with, and she was like, this lady was very nasty, and she took me being curious and asking questions as a sign of being disrespectful, and that was not the case. I simply just wanted to know.
Yes.
But I had to power through that, like her feeling like I'm being disrespectful, and me feeling like, whoa, damn, am I really being like nasty to this woman? No, I'm like just curious. Like, I need to know the answer to this, and like, oh, you just telling me something, like, oh, this is the answer. Well, I get that's the answer, but I'm the type of person where I want to know, how do we get there? Like, how do we get to that answer? Because, you know, not what you did, or not to say you're wrong. I just need to know how we got there.
Okay,
so that's a few things I learned from.
And having questions is the key of learning, you know.
Oh, yeah, it's the key of creativity. You got to be creative. Like,
very much.
job, every post, everything pertaining to life is all about creativity, like, and not being afraid to come together to do something. Because another thing that I've learned just in my starting a business is, and through my master's, you can't do everything by yourself. You need a team.
Yes.
Like, you will not know every single answer, and the person you think doesn't have an answer has an answer that could lead you to where you want to go. So it's like, you always got to be creative, and think outside the box.
Yes. So how do you think outside of the box when helping your clients when it's just you so far?
This is sound crazy, but sometimes I would text my friends. I'm like, yo, what y'all think about this car? They'd be like, why you send me this car? I can't afford that. I'm like, that's not what I asked you. What did you think about this car? What do you think about the color? Like, what do you think? And then I get these different inputs, and that kind of helps me. But mostly I listen to my clients. Like, I send them options. I try to give them 3 solid options, and move forward with it. Like, hey, like, what do you think about these 3 cars? And if they don't like any of them, back to the drawing board. If they like one, okay, we'll keep that one, but I'll give you 2 other ones. And at the end of the day, they're like, oh, I didn't even think about this.
Yes.
So like, that being able to think outside the box for them, in all, makes me think outside the box on everything else that I do.
Okay. So what is your favorite aspect of being an entrepreneur? And then also, what is the most challenging parts that you have faced so far?
My favorite part of it is gonna be that freedom. Like, if I did not have, it took me a while to get there, but if I did not have that freedom to do this, I wouldn't be able to effectively be there for my granny, and I wouldn't have been able to effectively be there for myself, because I lost my mom 2 years ago. So like, if I had to go to a 9-to-5 juggling that and this, I'm like, wait a minute now, I need a break.
Yes.
Job not gonna give you no break. They're gonna be like, oh, you get 2 weeks and then you gotta come back. And I'm like, that ain't enough.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still dealing with it. But that is like my favorite aspect about it, is being able to be there for myself and for the people around me. Like, when you got into your car accident, I was right
Hold
there.
on now. I'm just kidding.
I'm just saying,
no.
like, it was like, oh, I slowed this down bad. I'm like, I'm
one.
I'm 5 minutes away. Like,
Not me saying that one.
That's on you. You put yourself out there. I just said
Lotus,
car accident.
That was not my fault.
It wasn't your fault, but I'm just saying, like,
Yes.
I was able to be there like that.
No, yes, you
and
definitely
like,
were.
If I was at a 9-to-5, I couldn't do that.
Yes.
And I'm not knocking 9-to-5s. I'm just saying, like, for the type of person that I am and the heart that I have, it can't be contained in that.
No, very much. And you're so flexible with your clients too. That is definitely such a huge benefit for you. And like you said, how you were there for me in a snap. So
I've had clients call me and say, I'm at the dealership looking at this car.
Oh yeah,
and
I know a couple.
I'm at the dealership looking at this car, and they talking about X, Y, and Z. I'm like, hold on, tell them don't say nothing else. I'm on my way.
Right there.
I'm coming.
Yeah.
And had to come there and made it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And say, no, these numbers is wrong. What's this number? You trying to sell them this car for $30,000? What is that? Like, this car ain't even worth $30,000.
So what about the challenges that you have?
Challenges, I think the number one challenge is getting dealerships to trust me. And now that I've done it so much, it's like I have those dealerships that I go to and I'm like, hey, I got this deal, I got this client wanting this X, Y, and Z. You have 2 of them. Can you make it work? And getting it done just like that. The road to get there was hard.
Mm-hmm.
Like, imagine calling a dealership saying, hey, I got a client, I have somebody ready to buy a car for you. Oh, well, tell them to come in. Well, they're not coming in. Like, they don't have time to. Oh, well, then we done talking. Click. I'm like, okay, like, I'm trying to make you money, like, and my client need a car. And I've done so many deals now to where people when I call them and I'll say, hey, I got this client looking to buy this. They have this. This is for the trade. This is how much the car is worth. I got pictures and all this other stuff. And they're like, oh, well, have them come in. I was like, actually, I've worked with XYZ dealership and they can get it done. Oh, you worked with them? Like, you know them? I was like, yeah, like look at my page. You'll see. And they'll be like, oh, okay, well, let me call you back. Let me call you back.
I know that's right.
They call me back and they're like, okay, what do you need? Like, we can get it done. So that's the hardest challenge, is to getting your feet off the ground and getting those people to trust you.
And forming those relationships.
Yeah, like to get you to trust you enough to make sure everything's good.
Yes. What were some of the mistakes you wish you could have avoided when you first started?
Not taking a deposit.
Deposit?
I need to take deposit.
Oh, yeah, I was on you about that. Not having policies written up. Got on
not
you.
having any policies, and just trust, like, just being, I'm just so trustful and caring.
Yeah.
Like, ain't nobody
That's
gonna
where
do
that
me
big heart
wrong.
comes from.
Like, ain't nobody gonna do me
Comes
wrong.
in.
And like, I've had clients, I give them all this information, they took off and run and go buy it somewhere else, and I did all the work. I'm like, well, dang, like, I can't do anything because I didn't have no policies written up and I ain't had no deposits taken, so they can kind of do whatever. So that is one thing I will say. I should have had some policies in place and some invoices ready to go, and paperwork ready.
I agree. All right, so we're gonna get into some rapid questions.
Okay.
So this is you gotta be fast with them, okay?
Okay.
Morning bird or night owl?
I'm morning bird.
3 things on your bucket list.
Dubai is one of them. Audi Q7, fully loaded, and then to one day I want to have a kid.
Okay.
Her name gonna be Allison.
What animal do you believe is most closely matches your personality, and why?
I'm gonna say a panda, because I just be chilling.
If you were famous, what would you be famous for?
Talking mess. Call me Wendy Williams.
How you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing?
How you doing?
Texting or talking?
Ooh, talking on the phone. Wait, how many unread text messages I got?
Oh, don't.
Let's see. 420.
Sheesh. On a scale of 1 to 10, how good of a driver are you?
The best.
Yeah, okay.
10. No accidents.
What age do you want to retire?
As soon as possible. Today.
Say a word in Spanish.
Ooh. ¿Cómo estás?
Oh, I know that.
I know. Me too.
Favorite Beyonce song?
Oh.
He ain't fast.
I can't be fast at that one. How you going? You can't ask something like that and not expect somebody to take a reflection of life. You cannot do that.
I mean, you're great, but
Okay, right now, what's on repeat?
yes, what's
I'm
on
gonna say what's on repeat is oh, I cannot wait to see her in a couple days.
All right.
I gotta cool down.
Heat it.
That one. On
Period.
repeat.
I know that's right. Favorite lesson taught to you by your grandma?
To hush your mouth and listen. That is the most important thing anybody can ever learn, is just be quiet and listen.
You be doing that?
Now I do. Before it took me a minute. I wanted to talk my shit and go about my day. But now I just be like, okay, what you got to say? Okay. Ain't no arguing, ain't no nothing, ain't no yelling. Okay. Just sit there and listen. That's the most important thing.
Period. And then, what's your favorite car brand?
I'm going to give you my top 3.
Top 3.
I'm going to just give you top 3 because I can't choose. Audi is number 1. Loves me a GMC. I have 4 of them. Volvo. I'm going to give it to Volvo.
What was your favorite deal?
You was the number 1 because you was the first one.
Period.
And number 2, I had a client in Texas, and I found them a car in literally 24 hours, and for $10,000 cheaper than what they were going to pay. And my third one is one that I just did for a client, where I physically went and picked up the car and drove it to them from West Virginia to Indiana. So that was that one I'm proud of.
He travels.
I travel.
Period.
You ain't got to do nothing but sign paperwork and write a check.
What would you give someone, what advice would you give someone that plans on, getting into entrepreneurship, starting their own business? What would you give them?
Write everything down. That's number one. Even if it's just like little words that you think of, write it down either in a book, online, in your notes. Don't put it on your notes in your phone because you're going to forget about it. Because I forget about it all the time. But like
that is
a notebook, something where you can physically see and like this, and you can't get distracted by anything. So it's going to be that.
That is important because I'm a rapper. So sometimes, I be,
DJ
going
Peter.
through my days and I have to, write down like,
Write it
oh.
down. 2, ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yes.
Look at what other people are doing around you that may be doing the same thing and branch off of that. That's one thing I learned in school was to don't reinvent the wheel, because reinventing the wheel is going to take way longer than taking something that's already there and making it your own.
Okay.
And so that'll be my little.
That's some great advice. To be honest, yeah, I like that.
Period.
Where do you see AT Automotive Consulting in 5 years?
In 5 years, you're going to be visiting us at the dealership. That's just what it is. It's going to be a dealership brand or something. We're going to have our own little lot. So you're going
to come to me.
Well, you're right. Okay, I take that back. You're going to have a physical location to come see cars, or cars come to you. But let's reinvent the way people buy cars.
That's great. That is amazing. And then the last thing is tell everybody where they can find you, what you have coming up, social medias, websites, what you got?
So social medias, I got Instagram and Facebook. Look up the page, AT Auto Consulting. You'll see us there. You'll catch up on all the deals that I've been doing. Information about different cars, you'll see that there. And some things that I got coming up. I have a couple client meetings that I got going on. I'm working on a few other business ventures out there. I got Project DT in the works.
Yes.
Something to foster creativity with entrepreneurs that don't even know that they're entrepreneurs, or people that don't even know how to start a business, or kids, teenagers. Like I want to be there for them. So I got that in the works, and whatever else I can get my hands in to make the community a better place.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
And that's a wrap. OB Productions.
Period.
We out.
Period.